Thank you for joining us. This is Health Your Own Way podcast, and I am your host, Mo Atkins. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about traveling as a vehicle of transformation and personal growth. I'm actually looking forward to having this conversation because girl likes to travel, so it's nice. And please allow me to introduce my guest, Sonia. She's a certified travel coach and an organizational psychologist. So, Sonia, welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Mo. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I love what you do, like a travel coach. That's exciting because I think you're right. When the topic today we're talking about, how it could be meant for personal growth, and I believe it's such a beautiful thing to say that because most people don't understand. So, my first question to you really is, what does traveling represent to you in your life? Like, why does it have meaning to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, travel has always been a passion in my life, but I didn't prioritize it until recently. Yeah, it was something like, was more like a dream or something that I thought one day, when I will have time, when I will have money, when I will have the situation around me that's ideal, I will travel more. And I always dream, most people also that I talk with, they dream with the day they will earn or win the lottery, and then they will travel and full time. Yeah. So I was this person myself, but my reality was different. I was working in the corporate IT, in a management position, and I was just getting, getting up in the ladder, getting promotions, following this path. I even moved countries because of a promotion. I'm originally from Spain. I moved to Ireland 6 years ago, finding just this work. So work was, most of my life was work, but I was dreaming in the background with travel. Until what happened a few years ago is I realized it was a moment of my life, my career, that I realized I didn't want a next promotion. I didn't want to follow this path. And then is when I stopped and I looked, okay, what actually I'm doing, because I was not thinking what I was doing. I just was going to the next step, next step, because it was the logical, rational next step. But at that moment, when next step was not an option for me, is when I really looked inside and see, okay, what I am passionate about. And travel came, right? Travel, like big lights. And it's what, okay, why I'm not traveling? And then I saw my excuses, I overcame these excuses, and it's when I prioritized travel. And after that, totally changed my life.
I like what you say that because you know what? It's true. A lot of people don't leave their backyard. You know, a lot of people, when you said people live to work and they don't really go after their passion. And you seem like, traveling based on when you talk about it, I can see the excitement in your voice. I'm like, I love to travel. I want to travel. I hear where you're coming from in respects to the fact that, people are so like, one day I will travel when I have more money, focus on staff. And I think, we were talking about how can this help someone personally grow, right? So in your personal opinion, why do you think traveling will help somebody personally grow?
Yeah. So in that moment that I was talking about, right? So I prioritized travel. I did in 1 year, in 12 months, I did 15 trips to 11 countries. I was still working. I didn't quit my job or didn't take any break. I just was using my days off and take some unpaid leave. And I prioritized really travel. So I totally changed not only my mindset because I didn't know that was possible, but also after that, something changed inside of me, but also around me. I met my husband. I was, after many years, single. That year, I met my husband. We got married 18 months ago. And I decided that I was not in the right career. I just quit my job in corporate and I started my online business, which is aligned with my passions, which is personal development and travel. And I'm going to explain you further how this goes together. But the result of that year of prioritizing my passion, and I felt like for first time in my life, I was actually living. I was actually happy. I was actually connected with my joy. And of course, people around me noticed that. And I started attracting more positive people and being aligned with my authentic self. So that's what travel allowed me. It was like a platform for me to connect with who I am and what I want and my happiness. And of course, around me, everything changed after that.
I like that. And then if somebody was watching and listening right now, what would you tell them to say, okay, you know what, you need to travel more for you to grow? Like, why would that be the case?
Yeah. So I always say travel is this a perfect platform, this perfect vehicle for transformation for two main reasons.
Okay.
together, that I don't know anything else that has the combination of these two factors. The first one is that it puts you out of your comfort zone, is the only place you can grow out of your comfort zone. And the second one is that frees you from expectations.
Explain that.
What I mean by that?
Oh, good
Yeah,
for you.
so
Yes, I need the
yeah.
explanation.
So it's important, right? Because when, well, in your comfort zone, in your routine, in your familiarity, every day is the same of the day before. So we know when we wake up, how our day is, right? From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. And if we compare this with yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before, we are quite similar, right? What happens when we are in our comfort zone, when we are in our routine? There is a conditioning, there is an habituation that actually we create subconscious programs. And what happens is we go to in autopilot mode.
Okay.
So we are not present. We are in autopilot. It's these automatic programs that are running that I'm sure most people also have experienced when, for example, they drive for a road that you've done many times. You don't even know how you arrived to destination because you were thinking another thing, and just the body knew more than you, and you were there already. So we are not aware what's happening. We are more in this, our brain is sleeping when we are in a routine. So when you are in novelty, what brings travel, novelty, different, right? Breaks the routine. You are more present, you are aware. And this is when you can be self-aware of your subconscious programs and change them. And this is out of your comfort zone.
I I got like a light bulb in my in my head. I really did. I just literally got a light bulb. I'll explain why. So I was recently in Mexico, and I remember when you said something about how if you're out of your comfort zone and out of your routine, when you stop going your routine, you start realizing what's around you and what you are missing, what's making you happy. And I was like looking at this, I'm like, I need to move this country. I need to leave. I need to do something different than what I'm doing. So it's just you stop what you're doing and you get shaken up and you realize, okay, am I happy? Am I where I need to be? Or even if you're happy where you need to be, you need that escape. You're gonna go back when you say, okay, you know what? I'm okay. Or you want to do something different. Okay, I need to get rid of this. I need to get another job or something like that. So you're right. It does just jerk you and say, wake up. All right. I get what you're saying.
Exactly, awakes you. And it's the contrast.
Yes.
Contrast brings clarity. So
Yes.
you cannot know what you don't know if you are inside of the same all the time. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's when you change and you
Okay.
see also, you step away and you see your life from another perspective, like from the outside. It's like you are inside of a jam jar and you don't see the label. You need to get out and then you read the label. Oh, okay. Actually, this is a strawberry jam. I didn't know that.
I like
From the
that.
outside.
I like that.
And the other factor is it frees you from expectations, which is also crucial because we are, and it's related with the routine and the habituation, because in our daily life, we have roles in society. When we have relationships with other people in work or in your family, right? So we are daughters, we are wives, we are mothers, we are neighbors, and if we are at work, we are directors, we are doctors, whatever is that is associated with your role that you perform. You actually think, talk, look like certain way that is expected from you. And we learn when we are since very, very young how we have to behave in certain situations. So that's why if we ask, our family member, our mother, who I am, if you ask my mother, who is Sonia, she will tell you something different. If you ask my clients, or if you ask my best friend, or if you ask my husband, everybody gets a different part of you. And this is not who you necessarily who you are, is your adaptive self. So when you free from that and you actually can be yourself, when you are traveling far away from your routine, your roles, you just don't need to be in that role anymore. You can be yourself. And this is this feeling of freedom that most people also experience when they travel.
I love that because it's so true. Sonia, you making me so happy right now. Sorry, you make me so
I
happy.
hope I answered your question.
Y-
But this is my point of view, of course.
No, because it's not even that. Like, it's not even answer your question because I think a lot of people don't see it that way, right? A lot of people
Mhm.
think it's a vacation, but then if you really sit back and take that moment to relax and see, okay, am I really happy where I am, or am I happy but I need a time for myself, or it takes you because you're jerked from the normal way of thinking. Now you're like, okay, you get to see where you are. You really like this is an opportunity to and basically come out of your comfort zone is what you say is true. Because if you go somewhere else and you don't know that place, the same thing you were doing at home, like the 2 or 3 days before, it's not gonna be the same because you're gonna be trying different things and stuff like that. So I appreciate that conversation because it basically made me realize what I've gone through over the past month or so. That being said, we mentioned earlier that you're a travel coach. You gotta tell me what a travel coach is because this is new. I'm like, you gotta tell me what a travel coach is, Sonia.
Yeah, yes. And this is a question that I get all the time when I ask, what do you do? The conversation. And travel coaching is quite a new profession
Okay.
because most people confuse with travel agent.
Oh,
And the differences is mainly, from my point of view again, right? A travel agent, when you go to a travel agent, the end goal, what you really want is the trip.
yes.
When you go to a travel coach, what you want, what you are looking for is the transformation, the growth, the improvement, and the trip is just the means to arrive there. Travel is the vehicle, and the end goal is the transformation, the change,
Okay.
right?
So
With
what
after
would
this
be
trip,
okay? Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. So after this trip, you are not gonna go back to status quo. So a person who wants a travel coach is a person who does not want, let's put an example, maybe it's clear. Imagine a person who is burned out at work, right? Is working and so hard and it's just, I need a break. We heard this sentence, I need a break. So this person takes the break, takes a weekend, a week, a month, whatever it is, and goes for a holiday and then disconnects, recharge batteries, great, goes back to the same place they were before, doing the same exact things, the same exact all patterns. And guess what? Sooner or later, if changes nothing, it's going to be in the same burnout situation again. So it's going to need again the break. It's going to need again the trip to disconnect, to get away and recharge. And this is a vicious circle because didn't go to the root of the problem. It's just taking the trip to escape reality, to take like a temporary relief, but it's not changing anything. So that's what a travel coach helps you, is just with this taking the clarity that travel brings you that we saw before, journaling, doing some inner work, and see what actually is not working. Why you are in this situation that you are not happy with. Either is your health or your work or your relationships, whatever is in your life that you want to change, improve, or grow. Use travel to have this clarity and change that.
Love that. I think a lot of people need that. I think right now with the current situation, many of us are stuck at home. I know eventually we are going to be allowed out. I think a lot of us are going to want that kind of experience to see, okay, I'm somewhere new. What can I get and what kind of clarity can I get from this transformation, from this travel? Because a lot of people use it as a leisure. It is leisure, but this is an opportunity for you to gain something different from just the norm. I think, that's a good thing. Now, before I let you go, like anything, what's next for Sonia? Like what's out there that you can share with us that's coming on your path?
Yes, so I'm so excited also to tell you, right? Because with all this research that I've done after my transformation, my personal transformation, that I knew that was something, right? That it was
Oh,
there, that I was not the only one. So that's why I want to share with everybody. I did all this research and I put together. So I have actually doing workshops on my website, travelawaken.com/workshop. If somebody wants to check there, they can join me. It's free workshop. And we talk about transformational travel and how people can create a transformational trip for themselves. So my next challenge here is helping people to go to actually make the most of this trip. Don't make it like a waste, temporary, as we said, and transform and change that part of their lives that they want to improve or change.
I like that. Thank you for mentioning your information. So if anyone want to reach out to Sonia, please do. I think a lot of us we automatically just go on vacation and don't really make an effort to take advantage of that time to really, recharge and reevaluate our life and see how that we can move forward. So you're right. I think people spend as travel as an escape, but it should be a form of transformation. So when you come back, you don't need another vacation right away.
That's right.
I think that's
Got
it.
it.
I like that. I
You
really
got
do.
it.
Yes. I want to say thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation because I know it was something different, but I think traveling in the health aspects and it's good for your mental, it's good for your growth, it's good for your well, it may not be for your financial state if you can't afford to travel, but overall, there's travel does not mean leaving the country. It could just be going to a weekend and get away. But yeah, anything you want to say before we let you go today, Sonia?
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. When I talk about that and transformational travel, people imagine, like taking a year off of work and spending lots of money and going to the other side of the world. And it's not necessarily with the right tools and the right support, you can have great changes in a getaway weekend. Absolutely.
I love that. Thank you for being on this platform with me today, Sonia.
Thank you, Mo, for having me.
We're glad to have you join us. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, share with anyone that needs to be empowered and inspired, and don't forget to join us next week for the next episode of Health Your Way podcast. Have a good day, you guys.